Okay, so this is going to be a little bit different of a video. I was going to start looking at ghost hunting channels alongside the top five stuff, and I picked Haunted Nights as my first one a little while back. And I watched through this video of theirs, and throughout it, I sort of found that there didn't seem to be a whole lot to debunk. The first half of it is sort of this guided tour they get of a haunted nunnery in England. The back half is sort of their investigation. And so I watched the whole video, and by the end of it, I found there's not really a lot to debunk. Not a lot of stuff happens. There's some implied EVPs, all that kind of thing, but nothing. They're not pulling strings and doing anything wild. And so this isn't really a debunking video. This is this is pretty much just me reacting to the tour that they were given. It's not their fault that they were given the tour like this. I just thought it was hilarious, so I thought I would make a video about it. I did record more for their investigation, but it just kind of really wasn't anything. And yeah, this is not a Haunted Nights debunk. This is just a reaction to the worst tour maybe anybody's ever had.
Haunted Nights. Apparently, they are at a haunted nunnery. So, because evil nuns are totally not popular in regular mainstream horror media. First of all, love the upside down cross for the T on Nights. Is really good.
Tonight, we're at a haunted nunnery in England.
So I recently watched The Nun 2, and this reminds me a lot of The Nun. So that's going to be super awesome. Hopefully I don't see Valak just rolling around in here.
What? Besides the big dramatic opening. Already annoyed. I'm already annoyed. You got to toss in a horror movie reference literally at the very beginning of it. Like the first, other than the intro, the first words that come out of his mouth are a horror movie reference. See, they're already prepping you. We're already prepping for the fear. There's no reason this place should be scary, but we've said 3 sentences and we've mentioned a horror movie. So keep that in your brain the whole time.
Let's do the history tour and let's get into this investigation and see what we uncover here tonight at this nunnery.
Yeah, let's do
it. Caretaker / maintenance / security.
This is our caretaker / maintenance / security. Oh man, one guy. It's not unheard of, and if it's true, I feel really bad for him because he's being reamed.
General Dog's body for the old convent here at Malvern in England. Currently, we're in what we now call the base room. In terms of what this room used to be, not 100% certain, because this is just off of that room there, which is like the old dining room. We're not certain what this was for. Maybe this might have been for the higher up nuns, higher sisters. I don't know. Maybe they didn't want to eat with the general riffraff in that room, but yeah, just a little room.
Well, no. You can't not know. I mean, if it is just a little room and you don't know, there's no reason to bring it up.
The original door that was on there, we took it off because it was damaged anyway. And there is Latin writing on, actually gold leaf painting, Latin writing on the top. Something to do with no men. Never fully translated it, but it was on there, something to do with no men. My Latin's not very good.
What? It was never fully translated, and your Latin is not very good, yet you know it had something to do with no men. Those are the 2 Latin words you know. And the door with the gold inscription with something about no men on it is now gone because it was far too damaged to be there. I mean, look at the rest of the room. I mean, it's all damaged and old. Yeah, we took that door off. You know, the one with the Latin in gold that said something about no men? Toss it!
So the nunnery was built in 1879. by Father George Herbert, I think it was, and Sister Gertrude.
Sister Gertrude. Hang on. I was looking into Sister Gertrude and George Herbert. When I scrolled down a bit, I just had to point this out. Watch until the end to see the unbelievable evidence caught on film. And it's funny to me because it's gonna totally not be evidence of anything. Unless at the end of this video, there is like they have a ghost in a jar and they're like, we got him! No evidence. And not unbelievable. Moving on.
I think they were the first ones here, and it was called the Home of the Holy Name or something like that. I'm not 100% certain. But it's actually, the whole complex is three houses.
So he's got names and maybe a name of the nunnery, but he's not 100% certain. So they've got this maintenance guy. First of all, none of this makes any sense. None of this makes any sense. I'm nitpicking way too much already at the beginning. I'm gonna have to calm down and burn through this thing because it's gonna be filled with shit like this. But that doesn't make any sense. Why are you being let in to this abandoned nunnery by the maintenance guy who knows no history, but then asking him about the history? Why would he know the history? I mean, he might know some. He doesn't seem to know anything. It's silly and dumb.
Again, can't prove it, don't know for definite, but we think this is where the nuns stayed.
Our main historian doesn't even know if it's where the nuns stayed. He just said, can't prove it, don't know, but we think this is where the nuns stayed.
But when we have ghost hunters and whatever else in here, they say actually they're not that small, but when you see the size of the bedrooms in the other houses, these are small.
When we have ghost hunters and whatever else, who else? Who else are you giving a tour of this place to? Other than ghost hunters. It's like, well, we get the ghost hunters, and then every now and then we get, the occasional interior decorator that just wants to see how shit used to be done, And they say that these bedrooms, they're small.
So we think this was where the nuns were housed, and obviously their dining room, the little writing on the door about no men. So
the writing on the door about no men that you threw away, so we can't see the door that said anything about that. And you also don't know Latin, so you don't know that it said that. I'm not even 5 minutes into this thing, and it's nonsense. Okay, I can do this.
This is the cloisters. It links all three houses with the chapel, so they never ever had to go outside. So this is the chapel. Can't really tell you too much more than it's a chapel when they came to worship, really. You've got a big balcony up there. I would assume that was for the choirs. Not the widest of chapels, so I'm assuming you probably had the red carpets from a TV show that was filmed. So paranormal-wise in here, Christ, they do get a fair bit in here. That I've heard the organ play, and as you can see, it's not here. Women have been heard to be singing in here. I've heard it. Whenever I'm doing any maintenance around here, my tools will disappear. They're not where I put them. So out here, allegedly, there's a nun buried. We've not found anything to mark, like a marker for a grave. There could be, there might not be, I don't know. No one can actually say for definite.
No, but you're heavily implying that there is with that statement. I mean, you are heavily implying that people have said it's alleged, but what am I going to dig up the whole ground to find a nun? Yeah, but that's what they say. I mean, come on. You are heavily implying that there's a nun buried there. And there's absolutely, we don't even know the name of this building. There's so much. It's so vague and irritating. So basically, where they're standing, there's a nun buried there. Though that's what people say. So there is a nun buried there because that's what they say. We haven't found a grave. We're not going to dig it up. That's crazy. So I guess it remains a mystery. There's no mystery. It's just there's nothing. It's nothing. That's nothing.
So we started in Harvest House. I showed you Manor House. This is Sanctuary House. We found online and from general knowledge, this place was used for unwed mothers. It was an orphanage. They took children in. This is where we think they were.
All this information that seems specific and very much like, yeah, they did this thing. This is what happened. I think it happened in this building. Yeah.
So we think all the unwed mothers were kept in here.
But why? Because it's got a big space. All the unwed mothers were kept in here simply because it's a bigger space, which honestly, watching it, we don't really have context for. The size of the room. Oh.
Like I say, every room on this floor is like this. It's nice and spacious. We've also found online where it says convicts stayed here. So I can't imagine it was used as a prison. I think they maybe meant like a halfway house type thing. Again, is it some form of segregation?
Right.
So you had unwed mothers in this part, you had children in this part, you had convicts in this part. I genuinely don't know, and it's not the sort of thing.
Then why are you talking about it like you know everything about the place? Who's this guy? Who's this guy with all of the information and none of the information? I'm 10 minutes into this thing.
We had some paranormal investigators in. They were stood, in fact, they were stood here, filming.
Who are they?
Doing whatever they're doing. And they caught a mist that looks like 2 sets of legs. It wasn't windy that day, but again, that's you've got to take my word and their word for it. Wasn't, but it wasn't.
Okay.
So there's no way it could have been anything, but it literally looked like 2 sets of legs, 1 adult, 1 child. Came through and down that staircase. So let me take you down here.
Okay, but that's a story about a different paranormal group that supposedly got something on video, but we don't get the name of them. We don't know who they are. They captured evidence, full evidence of 2 sets of legs walking in a mist, and we're just going to be like, oh yeah, there was some guys here. They caught some wild stuff. Wasn't windy.
From what we've been told, these were used by the nuns as offices. Not sure why they had offices down here, but they did. There's a couple of doors that are screwed up there. I haven't got around to unscrewing them and finding out if they actually lead anywhere. But if I take you for a little walk around here, I won't show you too much. Just rooms full of junk. So,
First of all, man, there's a lot to unpack here with just this guy. Maybe there's something I don't know about nunneries, and that you have to have a guy there taking doors off hinges, and then that's it. That's the only. I mean, what's he working on? Mowing, maybe mow the grass. That doesn't make any sense at all. What is this man doing? What is his job? He's maintenance guy / tour guide / history buff who knows nothing. Weird. Doesn't make sense. None of that makes any sense.
so you've got this door here that looks like it's got a peephole on it. Yeah. Now the Anglican faith say they didn't punish their nuns. I'll leave that to you.
Oh my God! What do you mean? What do you mean? Also, show me the peephole. I don't see the peephole. Show me the door with the peephole. Give me that peephole.
But I'm not saying their cells because they tell me they didn't do it.
Right.
You are saying that they're cells. You are saying that.
And there is one there to let light in.
Okay.
So tell me they're not cells.
Even if it was for nun offices, which by the way, we've switched from it being offices down here to, prison cells, punishment chambers. Why would, if you were going to trap somebody in a cell, why would you, for punishment, why would you allow them to pull a chain to let light in to give themselves a little bit of relief? That doesn't make any sense. None of this makes any sense.
As you can see, we learned a lot. We know all the information we need to know about that place. And it was a pretty good tour, I think. That's pretty much it, though. I just thought this would be a fun video to make, and I hope you enjoyed it if you watched it. Also, I stitched this together for you because I thought it'd be funny. All right. Take care.
Not 100% certain. We're not certain. Never fully translated it, but again, can't prove it, don't know for definite, but we think, can't really tell you too much. Allegedly, there could be, there might not be, I don't know, online and from general knowledge. I genuinely don't know. You've got to take my word and their word for it. From what we've been told, I'll leave that to you.
Oh, and don't get scammed.